back then there was no kingdom as of 1248 AD when we came, because it was, in fact,
just pockets of settlements.
You know, one thing about Igbo race is that they don't conquer and they were not conquer. So when Prince Uwade came with his people, they were, I think they were kind of intermarriages that occur. In all the eastern region, like all the Igbo speaking region, there's a certain thing the king used as a staff of office.
Yes, we call it Ofo.
Ofo, which is not done in any of, which the Bini entirely don't use.
They don't use, no, they don't.
You understand? So how did the Ofo, because Prince Uwade never came with Ofo.
Yes.
Someone gave the Ofo out, and the Ofo left Ogboli.
You are to mark your settlement, and so he did that and then settled in that place with his family and the people he came with.
Ogboli centuries ago, many centuries ago, Ogboli came first, Ogbo now followed. Ogboli was the second village joined Ogboli, Issele-Uku. As far as history is concerned, the Ogboli from the Bozo settled in Issele-Uku. You remind that only one Iroko, 3 Oji, the Ogboli. I bond the one mwanya Bakudwe. The modern Kude Awaji. Back and the Ogboli was settled. Back up on whether the business. Now Ogboli.
Nobody Bundi na Bundi Chimeze. And Ogboli Budiskwa na Ogboli-Nshi na Nocha Nyancha. And the Ogeneko Ekenewe. One chance in Libya. And Wabundi Chimekwezi. Ibuzo, Pogwashi, Ila Wancha, Wabundi Chimeze. Onye ọzọ mechimeze karịa anyị bụ ndị Ogboli bụ si Libya onye ka eze.
Long time ago, migrants from Enwei Kingdom embarked on an expedition in search of new territory and a better life, crossing the proverbial 7 rivers and 7 forests. Of large expanse known today as Ogboli-Enwei and his team, having settled, chose a strategic portion of the territory and planted an Igbo tree known today botanically as Boladia levis. This is the Issele-Enwei, and is today the oldest shrine in all of Issele-Uku Kingdom. So, it becomes a thing of concern should anyone who claims to know the history of Issele-Uku write anything about the history of Issele-Uku without mentioning the name Enwei, the progenitor of Ogboli-Agidi community. From all the historical accounts given thus far, the history of Issele-Uku cannot be complete without the Chronicles of Enwei, the first settler, the founder of Issele-Uku, the planter of the oldest shrine in all of Issele-Uku, which is the Issele-Enwei.
Ụfọdụ n'ime anyị believe na onwe n'ife wakpo oral history. Ya bụ ife na-adịghị tarị si ọnụ wenye ọnụ. Ụfọdụ na-ekwu na wede na anyị gosiwa be wede. Mana ife efu na-adịghị gwa ya ka mkpa. Ma gwa anyị na Ogboli nọ Igbo. Ọ hapụ nwene we settle na Ogwashi. Ya bụ do akpọ Onisha na Ogwashi befko settle. Enwei aba hapụ wa. Enwei Ogboli obe settle wa n'isi. Ogboli bịa kwụsị n'ukwu ọjị ya ka anyị akpọ symbol of unity n'Ogboli. Ụmụ ọjị ukwu dị n'Ogboli. Ọjị afọ bụ symbol of unity bịa ka Ogboli si bido. Ogboli abịaga centuries before 12 AD ndị Bini liberated Issele.
A day came and the man went on his hunting expedition and noticed smoke from a little distance from where he was. There were no roads at this time. Everybody must go through through the bush, navigate through the bush paths. And so he decided to go to, check those who the people encroaching on what he perceived was his area.
Abuna ko bosi nje atanti danwa ndi du mweku ga lo kokolo ambe ebo we na bia ye no ba ya yi le gulo ba yi le di le
So he came and stumbled on this set of people who had settled also in one part of the town. And so the argument ensued as to who came there first, because they wanted to know who the overlord of the place would be, or who will, call the shots as Spartans in that area. And so the argument led them to go and check. Of course, people who came to planted their own Igbo. That was the culture of the time. And so they came to see the Igbo tree of Enwei, and then they checked the Igbo tree of the other people.
Because mama sisi awanja bagabe antene tefune yo bunge fonita inu ga disi o ko no fusko be ni ala ndele yo nje mado asa pakudu ni nebe ala ndele yo na lo na no wa ti mo no di ohun mi ye lo igo very just you go see that. Okay, na aka na sibe lede funye mana na ade makpa ni sibe ndi amane ko ni fuzi akuma ko no kan wo lo am ade se kan to ka sa e kan wo an ni be ba pa ko le je ifra e bo ti be le di me be ba su no be kan ti ju amu ko very so te ga pin no bodo am mana mu na ka pa ko le sisi bo e bu ani ayi ni akari ke di obodo ani ade bi won ona le foka fun ni na nde mu anyi Sinebu anekwaji amari ndị bụ ụzọ bịa n'obodo. Sitata jeme oyi anyị a amabụzi oyi anyị ma adị anyị ka ọ gara ọbụzi. Okwukwu nọ anụ maka mụ bụ onye mụ nụ ọgwa m ga-anụ. Ya bụ mụ n'ezikwa ba ha bụ ejigechi mmiri egwawa na anyị enwegadị ọkpa sitata jeme na-achịzi anyị. Na sitata bido na anyị ka ga-abụzi oyi. Nwa baba ihe adị. Iyade ona dele yoma momono no aije na inchabo aga ni beta je do kwa makwa ai do kwa makwa si be ri ka meta mu ji check kan gbo ya amwa bo
and they found that the Igbo tree of Enwei had long been in establishment, far older and more mature than the Igbo tree of the other people. So that was how they settled the issue of who came first and who was first in the land.
Nke Enwei mai ka agbai. That ka dey older than the other one. That go aje po Anisi Enwei. Abaza Anisi Enwei. Abasi okay. Beg anebuzi okay. Anyị no. Where will be our boundary? Baba no ime egbo nke Anisi Enwei Belenganaba. That's the branch. Bajama Uku, which is behind Beaforde. This is our present for market. Amazia, our boy, and Uku, you see. Nobody, no Bafo, but new boundary. To Bundioza, Abiama.
So to put a kind of demarcation or boundary between them so that everybody will know where he or she is occupying, a branch was taken from Enwei's Igbo tree and planted at the point that is the boundary between him and these other settlers. And that place where that Igbo tree is planted today is the boundary between Ogboli and Obofo. In addition to that, it was Enwei and his children, the descendants of Enwei, who now renamed that settlement that they met Obofo. Obofo in Igbo language simply means a new settlement, a new village, a new quarter.
If I na-akpọ anyị abụ Anisi Enwei. Anisi Enwei. Isi na be anyị bụ the first. Enwei bụ the first settler in Issele-Uku between 10th, 11th century, 12th century. Ka ọ bịa Issele-Uku. Oh, from Ogu. So he settled here. Man, I manage a life. Not until people came from Benin. Amandi Omado, that is people from Edo, Jibia. They settled in a place called Obofo. At the time was a Benibia. Oh, when they were could do barefoot. No other side. And these are the Umuchima. That is the Ezechima. From the east to
Oftentimes you see history being distorted. People want to tell you, oh, everybody in Issele-Uku came from Benin. Like some writers will tell you, they came from different quarters in Benin and all of that. It is not true. Yes, some quarters in Issele-Uku have Benin origins. Some quarters in Dumine, some quarters in Oboto. People who distort the history want to give the impression that the Bini migration came first. It is not true. The remigration came first, followed by the Benin migration and then other migrations.
I mean, we see different migrants. We see Igala, we see Bodondi Ozada, so many people. Bef kono bona I know Bofo, Moke. I know Bofo sister, Bunde Ebini, I know Gef. Ogboli, because as the first settlers of the town had a king then. Before 12 AD, when Bini Kingdom liberated Issele-Uku, this area, and took over the administration of the area. And they assimilated us through intermarriages. But unfortunately, we can't speak Benin because our language supersedes. Because they made larger groups of migrant farmers. Because they met larger group of migrant farmers, they now began to intermarry with us and install the administration on us. As a result of that, the king then, when we have a king handling Ogboli,
the monarchy in Issele-Uku was founded by Obi-Olibo. Obi-Olibo is the son of Ezechima. But other writers of Issele-Uku who want to project the Bini history will tell you that one Ogi over there 1230 AD. By 1230 AD, Benin was not an imperial power. Benin was still recovering from the crisis of the Ogiso dynasty. And then, why did I say Obi-Olibo? Obi-Olibo because the two instruments of Benin regal power, the Ada and Abani, those two royal swords, came into Issele-Uku history during the reign of Obi-Olibo. Obi-Olibo became officially recognized by the Oba of Benin as his tribute king in this area. And so to reinforce that position, the Benin kingdom officially during the reign of Obi-Olibo, under the reign of Oba-Esige, gave Obi-Olibo the two instruments of Benin regal power, the Ada and Abani. So those who are distorting it is saying that there was one Ogi over there as at 1230 AD. As at 1230 AD, the Ada and Abani, the two instruments of Benin regal power, were not part of our custom. It's an attempt to want to distort the fact and want to alter history to say that the Benis came here first. The Benis did not come here first. So Benin influence spread with the rise of Benin imperialism in the 16th century from the reign of Oba-Esige.
Tupu ife ndị eme, Ogboli-Nshi rulership, they have their own kingship, established kingship. One Abiane, Ogwachime, they have their own kingship. Ama ndị Omado jiba. Omado is a corrupted name. Omo Edo. Where's Bini Baha? They came as warriors. We defeat and the Agwachime. We defeat and Agwachime. The Onyachi Agwachime, Bapo, Befko as Omado, a corrupted name of Omo Edo. When we defeat Agwachime, Ogwachima, which means Agwachime. They corrupted it to Agwachime.
Obi-Olibo is the son of Ezechima. And then after Obi-Olibo, his son Obi-Owele. Obi-Owele is the founder of Ogbo-Owele. So with the establishment of the Ezechima dynasty, Obi-Olibo was the one who first received Ada. Ezechima didn't receive Ada. He was the one officially recognized. Because when Ezechima died, there was a dispute between his sons as to who will rule first. Because one of his sons died in his presence and the children of that man who died wanted to lay claims. But it was resolved that since their father died in the presence of their grandfather, that the rights are passed. That was how Obi-Olibo came to be the Obi of Issele-Uku. He is the founder of Issele-Uku dynasty. Before now, Issele-Uku was an autonomous community, self-governing, had his own line of chiefs. And that is the symbolism of that great Iroko tree at Idumwetiti in Issele-Uku. That was the palace and the area, the king's court, where the rulers of Ogboli community used to be. It was a self-governing autonomous community. We were not under anybody's influence. We had our own lines of rulers. And like I say to you now, the last ruler of that autonomous community was Manuata. He is the great ancestor of Reverend S.W. Martins of blessed memory. Now what now happened later? Yes, the Ezechima people began to rule, but unfortunately the people ruling Issele-Uku now are not descendants of Ezechima. Because something happened. At about 1730, the crown prince, who was the eldest son of Obi-Odia, was sent to Benin as a prince to be, the way they trained them for all these kingly things. And then mysteriously he died there. Many of us believe he was poisoned or killed, whatever. Some believe that before this time, Benin was already laying a grand plan to invade and install a ruler. So the man they sent for training died in Benin. They didn't tell the people here that anything happened to him. Only for Benin, the Oba of Benin, to crown his second son, Obi-Ediaye, and sent him under the guard of 3 brigades and marched on Issele-Uku and installed the second son of Oba Kenzwa I as Obi-Ediaye of Issele-Uku. That was where the Ezechima dynasty was toppled. Before now, the palace in Issele-Uku used to be referred to as Issele-Uku Palace. But under this new Bina, you see them trying to change things to Issele-Uku Palace. because certain truths are coming out. The rulers of Issele-Uku are not descendants of Eze-Chima. Many people in Issele-Uku don't even know this. And for this I'm saying, a lot of people are going to be incensed, but that is the truth and that is the fact. So where does that now lead us? There was a Beninization agenda with that imposition. Because before now, because of the re-influence, the Okpala system had become so entrenched. That is the system that was on ground. That is the system by which the people were governed. So, and the Okpala system was a loose arrangement. Once you are an Okpala, you're a free man, you live your life, you are not beholden to anybody, you are not anybody's slave or servant, and so on. And so one of the things the coming of Ogboli-Nshi did was to want to install in Issele-Uku here that strict and rigid monarchical system of a central bishop where everybody must go and bow and kowtow. And the moment you don't bow and kowtow, you are seen as either being a deviant and so on. It was with the coming of Ogboli-Nshi that towns like Issele-Azaba fled from Issele-Uku. Issele-Azaba and then Issele-Uku fled under that arrangement because of the harsh. If you go to Issele-Uku, they will tell you, if you ask them, when did you come? They will tell you, we fled Issele-Uku. Because what they used to call Issele-Uku was, if you go to Issele-Uku, they call Issele-Uku Issele-Uno. Issele-Uno. And then you ask them, why did you come? They say, look, it was Amobi Buadajibia. Now, so they fled because human sacrifice went. If you oppose, you are killed. You have no say. It was a very brutal setup. And it is instructive to know that at Issele-Uku today, the Obi of Issele-Uku emerges by the Okpala system. It's not the monarchical system we have. The oldest Okpala in Issele-Uku becomes the Obi of Issele-Uku. What does that show you? The Okpala system has been in existence. The influence, what the Bini people try to do erase by distorting history is to try to erase completely whatever looks like the re-influence.
So Onitsha kwaze cheze nisebuna Onitsha bonye ge chimeze ya bonye ge bumu biado na manoche no Onitsha chime no obi amabu obi ya bu ọrụ ndị Ogboli ya kwaje asira bo Onitsha ka eze biko na chime biado na manukpo.
Anyị bụ ndị tewe obi according to story. Anyị nwe obi mana duto ya bụ manọta onye bibefu mana ife meni bụ na as time goes on manọta abụrụ oke bụ n'ọnọ nụọ nwunye mụọ ụmụ mana ọmụ n'oke ife na-achịkọwa bụ ife meni the kingship ji hapụ Ogboli to another place. So oge ariai nwa okpoho bụ onye n'anya and onye Enuani bịa from Umuezi say along the line the man emesịa hapụ ụmụnne bụ si ariai ụmụnne n'anya ụmụnne ndị ike ya na the quarters wa befo onye n'anya so ọ ga-anwụzi ọ bịa were ọfọ o ji bụ eze wee nye nwa nke okpoho so ya bụ onye small that kingship from Ogboli to Umueze side. Before the thing say Paul. So Umueze our choma the thing.
The daughter, instead of proclaiming the death of the father, took the staff of office to where they are marrying her, Umueze Issele, and gave to the husband. before he came back to tell the brothers, my father is late. And they cannot allow him to stay overnight. The next day, kingship was proclaimed. We were told he was Obi Okafor. He lasted for 4 days and died. The brother took over, lasted for 4 days and died.
Umueze, Echimeze, Wichi Anwa Eze, Makona Jiofo, along the line, Wachi Onho, Wachop was if Wabasiko Wachoka, Wachoania, Kwamalife many, Ojibo, Nuachizi is all their last young. Ojemafa, Afa Sewa, Oles Mwaja, Wandi Oburi, Makwabundi Mwe, the right, Wabundi Mwe, the offer, Waja peace and Oburi come in good settlement with them so that Nwage Wike be a Chimewa Bweze. And the Aboya Meziwo stand it today Ojibona, Ndi Oburi as Onishe, and Nisho for Oburi Boengabia will Uti Ubinisi. Itiezi ayo toa. Man open Onisha be a Tio Bunisi or Mato, according to story.
They quietly now returned the staff of office to the place of abode, that is the Iroko tree. They now returned it, they went back to their kingdom, Bini, and brought a staff of office, which they now began to use. Because of that, a lot of people came. After much argument, they now agreed that since they are proclaiming the king, they are the administrators, you are going to be our kingmaker. They now become the kingmaker. Wabundi Chime Eze. Ayadi Ekeze, Anye Chime Eze. I saw this. This is the third, I mean the second time I'm seeing it.
So, Ben Simple, at least need witness again for about 5 of them will go Nisha. And can speak about few of them Nichimegeni, Nikudukwebu, Konkomode, and late Justice Azamani. Nkamenishwanyam, Wabundi Chimobi, Utio Bunisi, and where Chimesia, we Buluchewa, Makwagi provide or Adana, we are Chime HCF.
Actually, yes, this Kingmaker is 2 books in one. Actually, is a biography. It's a biography of my late father, the late Honorable Justice Eustace Okafor Azomani, who was also an Onishe of Issele-Uku. It was the kingmaker. In fact, he was the one who crowned Obindoke Ezaguna, the current to be of Issele-Uku. If you look through the pages of the book, you will see the picture where he was crowned in his office and capacity as the Onishe. The sole kingmaker of Issele-Uku, they are not 2. Yes, in imperial times, the Oba of Bini can stay in Benin and do whatever he likes. It was under imperial times, it was convenient for him to stay in Benin and impose a ruler in Issele-Uku. But those things cannot be done now. So Issele-Uku has only one sole kingmaker, and that is the Onishe. Whoever he crowns becomes the Obi of Issele-Uku. And until he crowns anybody, that person cannot be the Obi of Issele-Uku.
There are modes within which the Onishe we have to participate for the enthroning of the king, even for the burial. First, he has to seat the heir apparent. He has to give him a seat. We call it Ugbo, to sit down. Then he will now take Nzu white chalks and make incantations on him. And immediately you sat him there, is now show that he is the right person to be the king. And they have a tradition till tomorrow. Onye Danugbo, first to sit there by the power of the Onisha, is the king. Because our kingship is hereditary. Bini kingdom brought hereditary kingship. That is why we abide to it. Every Ogboli son is a potential Onisha. Manonye Buzo Chiobala now becomes the Onisha. That is the first. No matter where you come from there.
ebe jemezi abụ ebe ozi okwu ọjị dị ka anyị nwee our settlement ka anyị si ebi ka anyị si ebulu obi ka anyị si ri nzere anyị wee lụọ kịta ebe okwu ọjị dị ọjị anyị ji ri obi ọjị anyị ji achị onwe anyị ndị obodo ife anyị na-afụ ị ga-afụsịkwa ife dị anyị na tita nke dị ọ bụ na o mere ebe ya pụọ na see n'obodo dị mma sie n'ụmụ dị mma anyị ji anyị anụ ya ma foto ụzọ ka na ogbori ga-aga n'ishu ụmụ ogbori ga-aga n'ishu anyị ma nwere nri ofufe mmanụ ọtawa taa ọjị ndị ogbori ndị gaga ije taa ọjị enu ogbori dị mma ndị mụ anyị taa ọjị ka agwa ogbori si bido tụọ mkpọrọgwụ ogbori ka ọ dịa mma ụmụ anyị jewa anụ ya mapụta ụzọ ogbori ma bugoro ụzọ kpara azụ wala nkwụ ndị na-adị anya na nkwụ ndị aja na-egborila nkwụ ndị chi ga-egboriwala nkwụ
ọjị ema tigbukwa ụmụ ogbori o
Around 1951, most of the town was there. Because I don't want to go and work in the so, what did he say? Obia so what was in the sense of Bumoji, said he say. Of every Bumoji, then he say. Can get in his yawa, what was not a book, only a chill body a book, your body can we? Said, can was one of them talker. No labuye, if I saw room, man, when we met on a cabadendo. A half. In very much, he said, he could I'm not sorry. There are only ladies, he could we never knew one month, you know, no, push up bam. It was heavy around 1951. When your phone class when you took a penny for what happened, he say, when he say, oh, what is safe? Or Jania is safe. Second Japanese and I go, oh, my can you joker, who can snare us up another. I think a Babylon joker say, when catch you when you see that they can better. Nadia Kobo, Daluno.
And apart from that, how am I? I don't like it. About here, down my best. Only 9 I don't have patches to be here. That way, go at the Adama, the Argis is the Adama, when he came away. So, very many blades. There was one blade I saw last time for me. In Cabo, the blade for the cutting hook there. With the hook. The hook. And their chain we cut. So the marks created we have on there. They have to step down.
If I will add to what my elders have said, this orgy is also symbolic for something. It marks the fact that Ogboli was an autonomous community, self-governing, had his line of rulers, chiefs, people who were administering it, and where this orgy is located is like the palace square of the rulers of that time. And then the last ruler in Ogbi here is Manwata, or Menwata, who is a great grand ancestor of the late Reverend S.W. Martin. So this orgy for us in Ogboli is the sign of our autonomoship. So even if we have a monarch now, or Issele-Uku has a monarchy now, we had been autonomous before whatever is happening now. Because we have been here before everybody, we had our own self-governing institutions before the Benin imperialism came.
Ngri civilization, they more than 500-600 years older than the Benin civilization.
Ogboli dị in various towns, dịka Igbuzo, Ogbashi-Ukwu, Atuma, even Akuku. Ogboli settles there. Ka anyị bụ ndị settle n'Ogboli, ka ndị afọ settlekwa na obodo ndị afọ. And settling there shows that na Ogboli bụ ụzọ settle na each town, dịka ka sịkwa kọwala anyị, dịka ka sịkwa fụwa. So with this conference last year, December, they all came back kwala anyị n'ifefu dipende na niafa anyị ekwu na wenwe esizikwa nwe
ịbịa zokwa na Igbuzo anyị nwe Ogboli, ịbịa na Atụmabụ anyị nwe Ogboli, ịbịa na Akwụkwụ anyị nwe Ogboli, ịbịa na Ọnịcha anyị nwe Ogboli, ịbịa na Ela anyị nwe Ogboli. They are all from Nri. And Nwancha bụ kingmakers na ebe wa nọ, because we are the first settlers in anywhere they are.
Like you have been told earlier, that there are Ogboli settlements not just in Issele-Uku, in Igbuzo, in Atuma, Ele-Ogwashi, Obio, Akuku Igbo, Ela, up to Ida, up to Kwara State, even up to everywhere in Agbo there before the Bini came. The Nri civilization was well established in these places, and in all those places these elements from Nri came first. So Benin influence spread with the rise of Benin imperialism in the 16th century from the reign of Obesige.
Ogboli was the first to come to this Issele-Uku, even before the Bini Empire conquered this area. And in Ezekwa for Afa, Anyaza this time. Afa Bini. Like me now, our family. I Bodo and we say family. Igbo name though, which shows I see from Nri. Yes, I see Ribia.
There is what they call the Fejokwane. Fejokwane, for everybody who is in Anioma, any Igbo speaking community, even in the East, everywhere. The Fejokwane is the god of fertility and harvest. Before the farming season, it must be worshipped. And in any settlement in Anioma, the Fejokwane is not in the house of just anybody. The Fejokwane is always in the house of the chief or the ruler of the first settlement in the place. As I speak to you now, the Fejokwane is in the palace of the Onitsha here. And every year, by the custom, the Obi and the heads of all the villages in Issele-Uku must come here to worship the Fejokwane. The Obi provides the fish and the things that they must use, and he must be here in person or send a representative. Why are they doing that? It is a way of paying homage to the first comers in the land. That is the Fejokwane. Ideally, under the custom, it is why that Fejokwane is being done that the calendar Inaho is drawn. But you see, some people see it as an attempt to want to make the Onitsha look like it's another ruler within the, and all kinds of struggle go on. But that is the custom. Go to Onichubo, that is what they do. Go to every Eze Chima clan, that is what they do. And so you see this gradual Beninization trying to water down, to distort things as it is. But we still know our history as it is, and God will help us to continue to push it as it is.
And my people are so hospitable that they don't ask you to bring anything if they want to live with you. They will tell you, come and stay with me. Let me, if he loves you, he can even give you his daughter to get married to. That is my people. Up to today, they believe that Ogboli people are so hospitable in my town, Issele-Uku. They do a lot.
Actually, because Issele-Uku beneath influenced a lot of things in Issele-Uku, but they couldn't take away the language. So who were the first settler? These are critical questions. I said, Ute and some part of Ogboli who migrated from the Bini, we migrated 1248 AD. Why Eze Chima came in 17 AD? Yeah. And I've seen a lot of, when I said, when force will become an institution, yes, truth became a rebel bit. You see, in each quarter in Issele-Uku, we have 9 quarter that made up Issele-Uku.
9?
Yes. this is interesting because we have 9 in Ogwashuku, 9 in so many other Igbo settlements. Okay. 9 Iteneni, Ogwashebo Iteneni. Sir, is it possible for you to list these 9 quarters? Yeah, the 9 quarters is, let me just start with Ogboli. Yes. Ute. Yes. Ukpa. Yes. Ogbowele. Yes. Idumaba. Yes. Idumini. Yes. Ogbenti. Yes. Ishepe. Yes. Obofo. Wow. These are the 9. And I think we even have one. Anyofu. Wow. I'm not mistaken. Anyofu, not Enuani. Wow. Anyofu. Anyofu. That's very good. Anyofu also even explains itself that it was founded newly.